Excited about Airsoft? Hit the like button and comment to join other Airsofters in the conversation. What's up, Airsofters? The Scorpion EVO. When it first hit the market, it raised the bar for how a stock out-of-the-box AEG should perform. Its ultra-snappy trigger and modern electronic internals were a step above anything else on the market at the time. Well, it's been a while since then, and the Scorpion EVO has been given a facelift. First, if you're unfamiliar with the Scorpion EVO, let's go over the basics. At its core, the CZ Scorpion is a fiber-reinforced, polymer-bodied, compact, extremely capable SMG with a CNC machined outer barrel, flash hider, and barrel nut. With comfortable ergonomics, ambidextrous controls like the 4-position selector with 3-round burst, reversible charging handle, and a folding multi-position stock, the EVO 3 variant of the CZ Scorpion already has a lot going for it. But this is a Scorpion EVO 3 ATEK, which stands for Advanced Tactical Ergonomic Kit. Let's go over the changes in detail so you know exactly what you're getting with this gorgeous package. Basically, what they've done here is further enhance the ergonomics to make an already very wieldable platform even more so. The changes include a new M-LOK handguard, which, like earlier versions of the Scorpion, extends the top Picatinny rail flush through the polymer receiver. Interestingly though, there's a pretty useful change to the front end of this M-LOK handguard, and that's these two molded ramps on the top and bottom of the rail, helping to really lock in your grip when you're using a C-clamp or thumb over bore technique. Attached to the bottom of this handguard is a removable angled foregrip, and if you choose to run your EVO 3 without this, you'll still have pick rail underneath, which is covered by this angled foregrip. And rounding out the external improvements, we've got an enhanced ambidextrous mag release and mag well. Swapping mags is made even easier with the extended walls of the mag well itself, and dropping mags during a reload is made even quicker thanks to the extended and enlarged magazine release. And that pretty much covers the external changes of this ATEK version of the EVO 3. What hasn't changed with the new EVO 3 ATEK release are all of the functions and features that make the Scorpion EVO so great. This is one of the very few AEGs to have a selectable burst fire built in, and not in place of your semi or full auto functionality, and that in itself is very cool. It's also one of the smallest, most compact AEGs out there, and that's not even including the removable stock. Now that compactness though does come with a couple trade-offs. Battery storage space isn't one of them, but getting there kind of is. Accessing the battery storage compartment can be achieved by unscrewing this lug and the barrel nut that holds on the handguard. Once you've removed those, you can slide the handguard forward. Be careful not to lose the charging handle, the spring that holds it in position, or the little sling plate that can be swapped to either side. They like to fall out. So while this is a relatively easy process, there are small parts you have to keep track of. Now we found that a 1300 milliamp AK style stick fits in this just fine, which, based on its size, is a pretty healthy battery. It's also one of the few AEGs to have a magazine cutoff. Once the magazine is empty, the EVO 3 will not fire again until a fresh magazine is inserted and the bolt stop is pressed, or the bolt lock is pressed. Now this type of feature is becoming more prevalent these days, and it's a great feature if you like that added bit of realism. If you don't, however, there really isn't an override for dry firing with the magazine in. So, in order to dry fire it to clear the barrel, you'll have to remove the magazine, and even then you still have to hit that bolt stop or bolt lock. Now personally, I'm not crazy about having to hit the bolt lock every time I reload, but there's no denying the added realism of this functionality. And once you get used to it, it really becomes second nature. Speaking of bolts, the charging handle locks back to the rear, allowing easy access to the hop-up adjustment knob, which appears to be adjustable with an Allen key or your thumbs. Now, because the CZ Scorpion is such a unique platform, the magazines are of course also unique and proprietary. Thankfully, you won't have to worry too much about magazine compatibility since the only brand that makes extra magazines is ASG. And of course, the magazine cutoff feature requires these magazines, which you have to buy anyway. Let's talk about reloads for just a minute. The Scorpion EVO does not have drop-free magazines. This platform favors a grip it and rip it style of reload. Again, just one of those things that you kind of have to get used to when performing your reloads, but once you do, it's really satisfying. The mid-cap magazines, like the one included in the box, only hold 75 rounds each, which, let's be honest, is a little bit on the low end for a mid-cap. They are super reliable and fit most SMG mag pouches, and yeah, they just work. Now there is a beer belly shaped high cap if you really wanted to reload less, and it does hold 375 rounds. But fitment with the ATEK magwell is questionable. Let's take a look at how the Scorpion EVO 3 ATEK comes in the box. Opening the front flap, we get a look at both the instruction manual that's included, the magazine that's included in the box, that's a mid-cap, and of course the ATEK with its beautiful furniture. What most people forget to do is check under the cardboard that holds the ATEK in place, under which you will see a bit of instructions as well as the front and rear sight. Our FPS test showed an average of just about 400 FPS and about 17 rounds per second on full auto when using 0.20 gram BBs and our Matrix 1300 mAh 11.1 volt LiPo battery. In our distance and accuracy test, this ASG CZ Scorpion EVO 3 was able to land most of our shots on our 6-inch plate and placed a nice tight grouping on our Evike Professional silhouette target at 50 feet. Now out at the 100-foot mark, the spread grew considerably. Thankfully, we were still able to land most of our hits on the body-sized silhouette target. But for tighter groupings at longer distances, this EVO 3 could certainly benefit from an upgraded inner barrel, hop-up bucking, and nub, all of which are available right here at Evike.com. Because of the SMG layout of the ASG Scorpion, you might be tempted to think that it disassembles quickly and easily like other SMG AEGs, but it doesn't. The disassembly of the Scorpion is quite a bit different, though with a bit of practice, you'll be maintaining and upgrading your Scorpion in no time flat. Before we get into the teardown, one of the most convenient features on the EVO is the Quick Change Spring Guide. Thankfully, access to the Quick Change Spring is simple and convenient. With the stock removed, a quarter turn of the spring guide with a hex key allows you to swap springs and change FPS to suit your field regulations or preferences. The body disassembles into two major components. Once the grip and stock are removed, the upper can be split into two halves after removing several screws. Splitting the upper exposes the hop-up unit and barrel assembly for maintenance and upgrades. While the hop-up unit is proprietary, the Scorpion EVO uses a standard AEG bucking and inner barrel, which, out of the box, is brass, 208mm and 6.03mm inner diameter. Once the barrel assembly and hop-up unit are removed, we get a better look at the gearbox. As you can see, the gearbox is a shape unique to the Scorpion EVO. Immediately visible are a series of micro switches, which enable the various functions of the Scorpion EVO. These switches are all part of the EVO-specific ECU, a major reason this platform is so responsive. Thankfully, for all of the uniqueness of the Scorpion EVO, the internal components are largely standard spec. The gears, piston head, cylinder, and cylinder head, as well as the motor, are all compatible with aftermarket parts available on the market. The piston is polycarbonate, with the second tooth removed and a half steel rack of teeth. The piston head is ported, also polycarbonate, and is a little bit thicker on the front, possibly to correct for AOE. The cylinder head is polymer with a single O-ring, and the nozzle is polymer without an O-ring. Compression out of the box is very commendable, with minimal leakage. As a note, both the nozzle and tappet plate are unique in ASG Scorpions. The gears are 18:1 ratio, and there is a metal delayer cam on the sector gear. You can swap these gears out for other ratio gear sets, since the cycle detection is handled by a physical switch that interfaces with the cam on the gear itself. And thankfully, because these are standard gears, upgrades and changes are easy to come by. The performance as well as the internal components on the EVO are great out of the box, but for those interested in upgrades, there are specific EVO 3 MOSFETs available on our website. Something I immediately noticed is how snappy and responsive the trigger is on the EVO 3A1. Thanks to the micro switch trigger and the ECU controlled gearbox, you have a really snappy response that's really rewarding to use. And did I mention my favorite setting? 3-round burst. It's everything I ever wanted out of an MP5 Navy and never got. Since its debut, the Scorpion EVO has continued to be one of the best choices for compact, lightweight, high-performance AEGs. And this newest release from ASG, the CZ Scorpion EVO 3A1 ATEK, has all of the latest performance advances of the EVO lineup with the added benefit of an all-new pre-installed ergonomics kit. You can find both the original EVO 3 and the ATEK models right here at Evike.com. Thanks for watching. Don't miss out on the action. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Instagram, check out our TikTok, and join us on Facebook for everything Airsoft.